Oh, oh, oh dear. I think I've overdone it.
Are you all right?
Oh, I will be when I catch my breath. Do you mind if I join you?
Not at all. I can budge up.
Well, it's a three-seater bench. I'm not that wide.
Sorry, I didn't mean to imply.
That I'm a fat old bird. No, I'm sure you didn't.
Would you rather I left? There's another bench a bit further down the road.
Well, that's stage 3 in my daily walking circuit.
Ah, this is stage 2.
Exactly. I don't usually have to stop here, but I seem to be a bit short of puff today. I do prefer this bench, though.
Really?
I feel sorry for the other one.
Why is that?
It was sponsored by the supermarket at the edge of town.
Oh, you have a problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem with it, but he does.
Who's he?
The bench.
What makes you think he's a he?
Well, admittedly, it can be difficult to tell these days, but I'm pretty sure he's a he.
And he has a problem.
Yes.
That being...
I told you he's sponsored.
By the supermarket on the edge of town, yes, you said. But what's that got to do with anything?
Well, they built a rival supermarket right across the road from him. He's got to sit and look at all those people going into that store when they should be going into the one that sponsored him. Can you imagine if you were a City fan and they plonked you outside United Stadium?
I see what you mean.
Am I disturbing you?
No.
You looked as if you were deep in thought when I arrived.
Oh, people tell me I always look a bit out of it when I'm writing a play.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
It's what I am doing.
But you don't have a pen or paper or a computer. Are you recording it on your phone?
I don't carry a phone when I'm writing. It's distracting.
Oh, how'd you manage to write it?
I'm writing it now.
Oh, I'm not with you.
This conversation is part of my play.
I'm in your play, but you don't know me.
No, but I'm getting to know you. I knew about this being stage 2 of your circuit.
How?
Well, you told me. Just like you told me about the bench is sponsored by a supermarket.
Okay, clever clogs. What's my name?
I haven't decided yet.
What do you mean you haven't decided?
When I started to write this play, I wasn't sure who was going to come down the road to talk to me. But then you arrived, out of breath.
So?
I had to decide why you were out of breath. It could have been because you are ill, but I decided that you were really quite fit for an 83-year-old.
Oh, how did you know how old I was?
You had to be young enough to be out on a walking circuit, but not so old that you couldn't manage it.
Well, I'm 82, if you must know. I'll be 83 next month.
June.
That's right. Next month is June.
No, I mean, your name is June.
Oh, how did you know that?
You were born in June, so you were called June.
So, if I'd been born a man in November, I'd have been called Guy, would I?
Not necessarily, but I'll bear that in mind for my next play.
You're having me on, aren't you?
No, I really am writing a play, and you are very much part of it.
What happens next?
You tell me.
You're the playwright. It's up to you to decide.
Okay. What would you like to happen?
Does something have to happen?
Oh, the play would be a bit boring if nothing happened. We've come to the point in the play when something needs to take place to move things on.
Me heading to stage 3 of my circuit, you mean?
Well, it could be that, but then that would mean that you would leave and the audience would lose the opportunity to find out more about you.
Oh, there's an audience.
There's always an audience. There'd be no point in writing the play if it was never presented to an audience.
You're a bit full of yourself, aren't you? You think someone's going to want to listen to me babbling on about my walking circuit?
Well, the audience needed to know about that because it told them that you were not merely wandering around aimlessly down the street, but that you had a purpose in doing so. It's just that we don't know at the moment what that purpose was.
It gets me out of the house.
Good reason.
I get to meet people.
Another good reason. And you don't have a dog with you.
Oh, I don't like dogs.
Yeah, I know.
Get a dog, they said.
When Jim died, you mean?
Oh, how did you know about Jim?
Well, it could have been Jack.
He was Jack to the rest of the world, but he was Jim to me.
And that's why you came out today, like you did every day when Jim was alive.
It was a struggle to keep up with him most of the time. Slow down, will you, I'd say to him. I'm not an Olympic runner, you know.
And that's why you were pushing yourself today, to keep up with Jim.
Oh, the spirit is willing, but I'm not as fit as I was.
Do you feel suitably refreshed, ready for the next stage of the walking circuit?
Is that a cue for me to leave?
It could be.
You don't know what to write next, do you?
Not exactly, but...
You haven't got that writer's block, have you?
We could leave it there.
You're stumped, aren't you?
I'm all right. Oh, really, I am.
Would you like me to help you?
I'm not sure that you can.
Well, I helped you before, didn't I? I can help again. What's your name?
I don't think that's relevant.
I'll decide what's relevant. Your main character is in charge now.
Oh, you're the main character, are you?
I would have thought that was obvious.
Not necessarily. The writer has more prominence in this play than is usual.
Well, hang on to your laptop, matey. You're in for a bumpy ride.
I don't think June would have said that. Not at this moment, anyway. She's just been in a state of melancholy after the death of her husband.
But what if he didn't die, but he was killed? By her.
What?
That's moved things on a bit, hasn't it?
Yes, but...
You couldn't imagine June, that very respectable 8-year-old, doing away with her husband.
But she doted on him.
He was a pompous git.
Oh.
Good riddance to him.
Oh.
Would you like to know how I eventually got rid of him?
I'm not sure I do.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. I saw it on Midsummer Murders.
Can't we leave it to the audience to decide? There might be people of a nervous disposition out there.
You're convinced there's going to be an audience to this, aren't you? We're certainly keeping them on their toes, aren't we? They've got absolutely no clue as to where this is going. And we know why, don't we?
Do we?
Yes, we do. They don't. They don't have a clue because you don't have a clue.
If you don't mind me saying so, I think you may have overstepped the mark.
Oh, you do you?
Yes, I do. It's quite usual for a character to follow their own destiny, But there comes a time when the playwright must regain control.
You think you've been in control, do you?
Well, I was at the beginning, but...
You created a monster that got out of control. Your own Frankenstein, which gathered enough strength to overpower you.
Well, I wouldn't quite put it that way.
And how would you put it? You created this harmless little old lady who was hobbling down the street. Note it was a woman. Why, it should have been a woman. That's underperforming. It's all the same with you male writers.
Hang on. Who said I was a man?
Because you are a man.
How do you know that?
I can see you are.
You said yourself, it's hard to tell these days. I never said I was a man.
But I can see you are.
Yes, but this is a radio play. Unless there's a reference to gender in the dialogue, the audience has to decide whether the character is male or female or neither.
You have to be one or the other, surely.
Ah, that's my June.
What's that supposed to mean?
That's the June I created at the start of the play. She hasn't kept pace with how society is changing. Just like her walks with Jim, she couldn't keep up.
But Jim doesn't exist.
He does. Or at least he did. You killed him. You said so.
But I made that up.
Oh, he's still alive?
No, he's dead. He stepped out in front of a number 14 bus. Silly sod. I told him he ought to get his eyes tested.
And you miss him?
We were married for nearly 40 years.
And the only way you can keep from bursting into tears is because you run yourself into the ground doing your walking circuit.
Yes.
Oh, come here.
I'm an 82-year-old woman and we've only just met. Don't push the boundaries of credibility too far.
Oh, don't spoil the moment.
You have to give the audience an opportunity to relieve the tension with a little quib.
Oh, well, it's good to laugh. It's when you least expect it that it's the most beneficial.
Oh, you had to get that in somewhere, didn't you? It was touch and go for a while, but you managed it. Have we come to the end of the story arc?
Do you think that's what Noah had on his epitaph?
You're not right in the head.
Maybe not. But you certainly are right in my head.